Am I live yet? Is it working? Yeah, there we go. All right. So stuff is starting to pile up even more because I just got in, came in a lot earlier than it was originally intended to. I got this package with more G.I. Joe declassified figures because I got Zarana and Dusty, and I picked this up at Walmart yesterday. So I'm gonna do another live stream to open something up. I recently done the three uh, Mego 50th anniversary figures that have been showing up at Walmart recently. So I had Superman and Batman and Robin. So if you're interested in watching those live streams, those are available as replays, so you can go back and watch those. For some reason, YouTube decided not to group the live streams and the regular videos together anymore. They're in separate categories on my page. So, separate categories on everybody's page, not just mine. It's not like they singled me out or anything. But I don't like that as much. I'd prefer for all the content just to be on one page. Maybe if you wanted to separate them in different categories, but the main category should just have everything in it. I figure, whatever. Anyway, I've been babbling on for like a minute and a half. We probably better go ahead and talk about this action figure, which is Ghostface from the world's greatest Mego Monsters subline. So I don't know why they have this logo just like really tiny here in the corner on the back of the package. It seems like they could have found some place to put it on the front as well, but they did not. But it does say that it's in the movies subcategory, which is kind of funny because when I'm looking over this Ghostface figure, I can't find any mention of any movie that this character's been in. And of course, we know what movie we associate this character with, which is, of course, Scary Movie by the Wayans brothers. And that's what we recognize this character the most from. Maybe it's actually Scream that Scary Movie was a parody of. But it does say the icon of Halloween, TM, Ghostface, TM. And if you look at the copyright information on the back here, which I'm going to show you real quick, but I'll go ahead and read it to you. It says Ghostface is registered. I can't talk. Ghostface is a registered trademark of Fun World Division Easter Unlimited Incorporated. All rights reserved. The icon of Halloween is registered trademark of Fun World Division Easter Unlimited Incorporated. All rights reserved. Official limited edition action figure with original detail and quality. And then it's got all the Mego copyright information here. No mention of any movie that this character has ever been in. So even though, like, I think most people would look at that and go, like, oh, that's the guy from Scream. It doesn't actually say anything about Scream on here. So my guess is, like, since, Scream has to license the ghost face mask from Fun World anyway, a lot of merchandisers will just bypass the movie entirely and just license the ghost face costume from Fun World. And there you go. In fact, there was another 8-inch figure that I saw at Walmart of this same character from NECA. And that one also said Ghostface, and I didn't notice any mention of the Scream movies on there at all. And funny enough, that figure actually even comes with like the voice changer box that the character used in the movie. So clearly that one's supposed to be the character from the movie, but they got away with that, I guess, or at least they have so far. But Mego's version is like, yeah, you could look at that as being a guy in a Halloween costume. It doesn't necessarily have to be any of the characters from the Scream movies. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, like at least as far as the first Scream movie, which is the one I'm most familiar with. It's the only one I've seen multiple times. Like, I've seen some of the other ones, but I've only seen them like once a piece. Uh, uh, the two guys that played Ghostface in the first movie, probably the worst slasher movie villains like ever. And I don't mean that in terms of like them being bad characters. They weren't bad characters. obviously I bought the figure, so I like the character. Um, but they're not very good at their job. And I always laugh at the part where like they just explain their whole plan to Sydney, and then they're like, "Okay, now that we've explained the whole plan to you, and you're still alive, we're gonna stab each other." Like, couldn't you like wait to do that after she's dead? I'm getting a little woozy here. Well, yeah, you get stabbed. That's gonna happen. You idiots. So anyway, but the first Scream was a good movie. Like the sequels kind of vary in quality. I heard the most recent one was good, so I might try to watch that at some point. But let's go ahead and open up Ghostface. Oh, before I do that, I should note that there are credits on the back here, so let's read the credits. With special thanks to Paint Master Tom King, Sculptor Tyler Ham, and Seamstress Brian Leitner. Which, if you're into Megos at all, that's a name that should be familiar to you. So let's go ahead and open them up. We got a little plastic tray here, but he's not bound into it in any way. So we'll set that aside for the moment. And there is our Ghostface figure. And I'm going to set him aside for just a moment because there's one more thing that was in this tray, which is this teeny tiny little knife. Oh, it's so small. Don't worry, Ghostface. It's not the size of your knife. It's how you use it. It's not a show for kids. All right, so let's go ahead and see if we can get this out of here. Oh, I think I bent it up. It's just so small, and I'm trying to get it out, and it's taped in. There we go. And I got it a little bent up, but I got it bent back into shape. Teeny tiny little knife. I have G.I. Joes in 3 3/4 inch scale that have bigger knives than this, let alone 6-inch scale. And this is an 8-inch figure. Oh, it's such a small knife. I might have to give him a more impressive knife at some point. So this is on the newer Mego body, which is what I was hoping for, with the improved articulation. And that means his elbow is going to be a little stiff. So I'm going to be really careful with it when I bend it up. And we see that it does rotate all the way around. And he's wearing this robe, which apparently does not have a shirt underneath it. I'm going to open up the back of the robe just a little bit here in the back. We can see there's no shirt underneath this. The body looks to be a solid black body because the arms are all black. And the back of the torso is black. And what I'm hoping is I can get an extra one of these and I can swap the modern style Batman onto the new Mego body, because that one's on one of those old Mego bodies, and I want one with a good articulation. So I'm gonna try to see if I can swap out the heads and the outfits, and this will be perfect to do that with. But there we go. How about the legs? What's the articulation like on the legs? Let's see. Again, really stiff because. And it looks like it's got that same problem that the 50th anniversary figures have, where the knees don't bend quite 90 degrees. Now, Dr. Mego, Paul Clark, I'd seen a Facebook post that he'd done in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in, that he's also in. And he says that that was a factory error and that will be corrected going forward. So they're going to fix that. We won't have that problem anymore. But if you want to fix it on your Mego figures in the meantime, he says that you can just trim about 2 millimeters of excess plastic off the back of the leg. Maybe I can show. I got Robin right here. He's got shorts, so I can show you. Like just at the back of the leg there, that this should probably come up about another 2 millimeters. So you just need to trim that little bit of plastic off, and that'll give you a proper 90-degree angle. But I haven't tried it yet because I'm not going to try it until I have like an extra body that I can kind of fool around with and see if I can, do it without messing it up. I'm reasonably certain I can do it. It seems like a simple operation. And God knows I've done this kind of thing with action figures before, but I guess I'm just getting more trepidatious in my old age. So anyway, this knife is so tiny. Let's see if we can actually even put it in his hand. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. So this knife is so small that it won't even fit in his hand. So he can't even hold his knife because it's just so tiny. Look at that. It's kind of suggestive. Will the left hand fare any better? Let's see. Might as well be thorough. Nope, he can't hold his knife. His knife is too small. So the character that's known for stabbing people, if this was indeed a movie character and not just a guy in a Halloween costume, uh, his knife is so small he can't hold it. But it's a really nice looking figure, and I'm sure I can get a knife that'll fit in his hand from somewhere. I could probably even 3D print one since I have a 3D printer. So, but I would advise anybody who wants to have him with a knife that he can hold, go to the Dollar Tree and look at some of their soldier figures that they sell for $1, and sometimes those have some good knives on them, or like some of the cheap soldier toys you can get at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and that kind of place. Usually those figures, even though they're 3 3/4 inch, their weapons are usually like way larger than a 3 3/4 inch character would need. So you can probably get a decent sized knife for this guy and have him hold him. Or if you want something that's like really authentic Mego, maybe see if you can get like an Action Jackson or Tarzan knife. They're the same knife. He might be able to hold that one. I think. I don't know. I don't have one on hand to try it out, but that might be worth looking into if you want like an authentic Mego knife that this guy can hold. That one might be a good option, and there are lots of different reproductions of that on the market, so you shouldn't have too hard a time getting a knife that this guy actually can hold. I just don't know why they made him such a tiny little knife. It'd be one thing if it was just like a short knife with a small blade, but like I said, this won't even fit in his hand. So if you give an action figure an accessory, you ought to be able to hold it. So got to deduct points for that, unfortunately. Oh, I want to peel back the hood and see what the head looks like underneath. And he's got like a whole face mask. This is not how those masks work in real life. Usually it's just like the front of the mask, and then like all this back here is fabric. So I don't know why they chose to do it this way. They had to put something underneath the hood, obviously, and I was kind of curious as to how they would treat that. I probably would have just had all this painted black back behind the face, because like that's what the mask kind of looks like in real life anyway. But it doesn't really matter because most people are just going to have him with the hood over it, and with the hood over it, it looks perfect. So really, the only drawback with this figure, I think, is the knife, the tiny little knife. The costume is really simple, but it's one of those where like it should be simple in this way, where he's just wearing a black robe over a pair of black pants, and he's got like the kind of standard black shoes, like the same ones that like the penguin would come with. So and we can see that if we look underneath, yeah, his feet and his lower leg are black. So I'm guessing that yeah, this is indeed an all black body. So the only pieces I haven't been able to see without removing the costume is the thighs and the pelvis, and I have no reason to assume that those are molded in any color but black. So, would I recommend this figure? Oh yeah, this is a good figure. Like I said, the only problem with him is that knife, and if you can replace that knife, then you should be set. And this will be a good figure to display in your collection. Now, that having been said, you can't replace a knife if you're going to keep them mint in the package. But if you're going to keep them mint in the package, it doesn't really matter if he can hold his knife or not, does it? So yeah. So yeah, Ghostface. Definitely gets a solid recommend from me as far as Mego figures go. It's uh it's definitely a more modern figure than would have been made during the original Mego tenure, because he came out in the late '90s. But Migo's trying to bring things into the present and the future and do some more modern characters. And if you like that sort of thing, you like that sort of thing. So you're happy to see it. Personally, I just would kind of like to see any character done. Just anything goes as far as Migo. Do like whatever kind of character you can come up with. Like they did that Snake Eyes Storm Shadow 2 pack, and I love that thing. So if you haven't seen my video on that, you can go ahead and check that out. I do also really like how they did the extra flaps sticking out of the robe. That looks really cool, and it to me kind of adds to that whole sort of Halloween costume aspect of this guy. That this is just a guy in a Halloween costume. He's not like an actual ghost or monster or anything like that. This is a guy who literally went to a drugstore and bought a Halloween costume that he could run around, stabbing his classmates in. So, and it definitely has that sort of feel to it. I mean that in the best possible way. So, Ghostface gets a recommendation from me. I'm enjoying this figure. I'm happy to have it as part of my collection. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Let me know what you think about Ghostface, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.